Hey up everyone, it's your girl Brain Shanae, and today is the 17th day of Vlogmas. So what are we doing today is pretty much doing a book review for my currently read book that I just finished just like in minutes, and I really felt like I should do a review about this book because it was that good, and that is RAYBEARER by Jordan F. Waco. So if you want to know what I thought of this book, please stay tuned. I am back, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. So like I said before, I wanted to do a quick review of RAYBEARER by Jordan F. Waco. Now I'm just gonna let you know there may be some spoilers or maybe not. I really don't know, but like I said, like I'm just gonna provide you my review and tell you what I pretty much thought about it, because like I said, I just recently finished this book, so I wanted to get my full insight as it's fresh in my mind. So I had read this book. I also listened to it on audiobook, so as I was listening to it, I also was following along with it as well, because I don't know, I just felt like doing that for some odd reason. But anyhow, so the main character in this book, her name is Terasai, but her name is given to her by her father, who is an Elu, who is pretty much, I wouldn't say a demon, but like a spirit of the Swanaland, which she is raised. But the interesting thing about Terasai is that she was she was pretty much created in order to pretty much fulfill a task from her mother. But for her mother, she doesn't really call her mom or her mother that much. She's mostly known as the lady. And so the lady had met this Elu, and she wanted to pretty much do something in order to fulfill, like, for vengeance in a way. And for that, she's like, you know what, I should just create an abomination. So that's what she pretty much thought of Terasai, and she never thought of naming her, except for the Elu wanted to name her Terasai. So as Terasai is growing up, she grew up in a Bikina house with tons of people who are loyal to the lady. The lady didn't really raise her. As I said, the lady had pretty much trusted people to raise Terasai and get her prepared and trained for what the task that the lady wanted her to do as she had reached a certain age. So Terasai, she didn't grow up as a normal child. She didn't go outside a Bikina house. She wasn't able to play with other kids in Swana. And so she always looked outside the window, wondering why I can't go outside. And on top of that, the people that had pretty much trained her and helped her learn many different languages was afraid to touch her. And I'll let you know why later on as I explain it to you. So as she got to a certain age, that's when the lady, her mom, started telling her, okay, it is time for you to go to Artazar, where you'll be trained, you'll be tested, and to see if you become one of the 11, the council of the empire, or the emperor, the son, the emperor's son. And so she said, why is that? But she said, when the time is right, you will know what my task is and why I trained you to do this and be part of this. So her councils that the lady had trusted her daughter to be with, they took her to Artazar, and that's when she was introduced from the emperor. And the emperor obviously realized who her mother was, and he didn't really give her any more information about that. She didn't want her to be anywhere near his son, what have you. But eventually council rule states that she is of age, she qualifies, so they have to give her a chance. So she meets the emperor's son, which his name is Deo, and he's enthralled with Terasai, and they just hit it off naturally. And there was a test pretty much that she had to pass, and she did. Not a lot of people had passed this task that they had to do in order to be part of the 11 council. So within the 11 council, I will let you know that they consider them siblings. So within those 11, they pretty much can, in a way, sleep together, have children together, or what have you, inside that 11. They can't do anything else outside of it. That's why, and then on top of that, they're called sibling councils. So there's 11 of them, and also Terasai meets Kira, who is also becomes one of her best friends, who she considers pretty much her sisters now that she's going to be part of the 11 as well. And so they also find out mostly about their hollows, which for this, hollows means their talents. So the reason why the counselors that the lady had chosen for to raise Terasai, they didn't want to touch her, is because Terasai can learn and read memories. A single touch, she will be able to know every memory that you have, or just anything like that, and they were scared of that. So that's why they were afraid to touch her. So that is Terasai's halo. She's able to read memories. Kira, her best friend, who she considers her sister, she is able to heal people. And so the Emperor's son, Dio, he is also considered a Raybearer. He has a Ray amongst him. But later on, as time goes on, after 4 years of them training to be the Council 11 and everything like that, her mom comes back in her life and tells her the task that she must do, and that she must kill Dio. And like, the reason why, it's crazy, and Terasai did not know why. She was wondering, why do I have to kill Dio? You know, Dio is part of my family. I made this family, you know, because you always neglected me. Why are you trying to take something away that I feel like I'm a part of? I'm part of something bigger than myself, and I actually enjoy where I am, the people that I'm with, that I'm living with and grew up with. Why are you doing this to me? And so yes, she pretty much forces Terasai. Since she has Elo, which is like a spirit, she has to pretty much do what her mother says. She has to, it's like that movie Ella Enchanted. She had to obey. She had to do anything somebody told her to do. That's pretty much what it was with Terasai, that one task. She must kill Dio. And so one evening she does stab Dio, but she doesn't stab his heart, which he still lives, because Kira, the healer, she's able to heal him. And Terasai ends up running away with Sanjeet. Sanjeet is also one of the 11 council he's one of the 11 council who protects Dio. And Sanjeet and Terasai, they have like a little romance, I think, they have going on. Like, it's crazy, but their connection with each other is very strong. And I feel like in the sequel of this book, I'm definitely going to see more of that, you know. But a lot of people think that her and Dio were like inseparable, but I feel like Sanjeet and Terasai had a more stronger relationship, in my opinion. But yeah, so Sanjeet, like I said, his talent is pretty much knows people's anatomy. If something hurts, he'll know, like, he can sense in the bones what bone has been broken or anything, and what has to be done in order to get it healed. So he knows a lot about that. So he's also a fighter, so he knows the trigger points or where to hit somebody due to an injury or something that they have, or a weakness in their body. So that's why he's mostly the protector of Dio. And so, like I said, she runs away with Sanjeet, trying to figure out what happens. And then towards the end, or in the middle of it, she realizes the only reason why her mother wanted Terasai to kill Dio is based off of vengeance and settling old scores, because she was banished. Now, the reason why the lady was banished, she was banished from her brother. Her brother is the Emperor, which that blew my mind. So she's having pretty much her daughter kill her own cousin, pretty much. And the reason why the Emperor banished Terasai's mother, or the lady, because she also had the Ray. She was able to pretty much rule with the Emperor, but he did not like that, because women weren't allowed to do that. Only men were expected to be the Raybearer. So he had banished her because she was trying to pretty much take over. But really what she wanted to do, she wanted to rule beside her brother, but he did not want that. So in the end, we realized that's why she wanted Terasai to kill Dio, to settle old scores. And with that, there was a trial and everything, and then death, bloodshed. And then you also have the Shadowlands, where in order for like her mother to pretty much settle this old score, she had made promises with the Shadowland, and was trying to not to have Redemptors kill children. But so there was a lot of Redemptor children that blood was being shed. And so with Terasai, who also has the Ray, which Dio knows that she also has the Ray as well as he does, he wants to rule with Terasai. He does not want her to be banished. He does not want, he wants to share the shine with her. And so with that, of course, you still have the trial with her mother, and eventually she does get killed or murdered. But also the emperor dies as well. He is dead. So now they're going to be in the second book, there's going to be a coronation where where Terasai and Dio become one, and they rule Artisar together. That's mostly the gist of it. I don't want to say too much, but I gave this, of course, a 5 out of 5 stars. This book was amazing, especially the audiobook. I really enjoyed it that much, of how everything was written, how everything was said in the book, how the pronunciation of the words. I loved it so much. I also loved the world building. It was very vibrant. It was very colorful. It was very I was very specific in the locations: Bakina House, Artisar, the Shadowlands, the Redemptors, the Raybearers. It gave you a good, I would say, definition of it without you having to look it up, because it does have a glossary in the back where it gives you the definitions of the names and everything like that. So with that, I didn't need to do that, because it gave you pretty much a good understanding of it within the book itself. But it does give you some information about it. So like the Eru, who I told you is Terasai's father, it's called an enslaved spirit. So like I said, he's a spirit of the Swanalands, where that's the land where Terasai grew up. But within that land, she only lived in a house called Bakina House. So we have that. There are other things, like there's a lot of definitions in this book that I think is very like the Abiku, spirits of death that inhabit the underworld. You have Agbada, a sweeping floor-length men's garment with long loose sleeves and cloth that drapes generously over each shoulder. So I also feel like this is also inspired in Western Africa. I could be wrong, but I know it's definitely Africa, and I love that about this book as well. I feel like I'm part of the motherland. I haven't been to Africa. I really do want to visit Africa so much, because I feel like when I visit there, I feel like I feel like there's going to be a part of me that's going to be coming back that has been missing. So I feel like with this book, and knowing that, you know, it's located and inspired in Africa, I felt like I was a part of this book, especially like the cover is gorgeous. Of course, obviously this is Terasai, and this is like her Ray. And I think this, like, I love this book so much. I cannot knock it. It was that good. There was nothing negative I can possibly say. It was not disappointing. There wasn't any dry moments in the book whatsoever. There was always something action-packed. There was always something you learned. It was never repetitive. It kept you going. It made you want to know more and more and more. It was a page turner. It definitely wanted me to keep, like with the audiobook, I constantly kept listening to it because it was that good. I wanted to know what happened to Terasai, what happened to Dio, what happened to Sanjit, Kira, what happened to the lady, the emperor. I just wanted to know everything. And so for this book, like I said, a 5 out of 5 stars for it. It does not disappoint. And if you haven't read this book, I suggest you do so, because it is that good. But I won't go more into it, because I really want you guys to pick it up and see for yourself what you think of this book. But anyhow, that is the end of my review of 5 out of 5 stars. I have nothing to complain about whatsoever. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified when I upload more videos in the future. But thank you so much for watching, you guys, and please stay healthy and stay safe. See ya.